FNR, Football Nation Radio.
Voutsinas, no call! Score!
Salamini for Cole. Cole on the run. Shoots. 2-0.
Lazarowski with the free kick. Launches a rocket! Trimboli, what vision! Blasts. Yes! That's it!
Miljevic.
Beautiful ball! Here's Bozanic. They haven't! They might have won it!
The Pioneers with George Donikian and George Voutsinas on FNR, Football Nation Radio.
G2, it's Thursday night.
Good evening, G1 and G3.
We can't talk about G3 just yet.
All right.
Just remember, what's tonight? It's the Pioneers show.
Pioneers,
right?
yes. Thursday, your favourite time of the week.
I'm reliably informed by a guy called Harry Bingham that our guest tonight had, wait for it, a cultured left peg.
But he wasn't a left footer.
Correct.
He was ambi.
Gary Cole says, what a cracker Jolly is, right? Colin Cooper kept it very simple. You know what Coop's like, right? One word. Gun.
School teacher.
No gun.
He teaches English too, doesn't he? They come up with one word.
Correct. Robert Runye. Jolly, absolute legend. Loved the nutmeg. Great left peg, but was actually right-footed, which is where you picked it up. Great memories of Jolly. Galloping down the left flank and me on the right. Seriously, great times. And Dougie Hodson, right foot, when we all played together in the Victorian team. So, who am I talking about, G2?
I think you're talking about George Jolevski.
Correct. Who tonight is anointed
G3.
as G3.
Correct.
G3, welcome.
Well, thank you for having me.
Mate, listen,
pleasure.
one of the things G1 and G2 have been talking about from day one was telling the story of all the players who came in the early days of the game in this state and in the early days of the game in this country. And we've had the fantastic fortune over the last 12 months of having referees. Yes, much more than that now. Yeah. We've had referees, we've had Socceroos, we've had Matildas, we've had administrators, Johnny Dinsis.
TV, radio, we're covering
Nick
everything.
Meredith, you've covered everybody. But to have a good right footer who actually was a classic left footer, and not only that, he used to nutmeg people. That's
My kind of player. Anyone who does nutmegging freely is welcome on this show.
But you know what? You know where you normally go and you take us and you say, okay, our guests, tell us your early memories. We've got a very important thing that we need to address very early on, all right? Take the headphones off. I want to see, you know what it is, G2. We need to identify, so you've got an earring.
That's right.
I've had requests
What's
from
going on with the
50,000
earring?
people, so you've got to take photos.
Yeah, we'll send some photos.
So
We'll
G3,
tweet them.
is there an earring?
No chance.
What's happened to the earring?
Long gone, probably 20 years ago. I
Go on
think.
with the curls.
And when the kids came along, and you don't want to have an earring, and then they want to have one at 12. So
My son's asking me now and asking me and telling me you had it at my age.
yeah.
Well, so Georgie, take us back to the day that you got it done.
Oh.
And you had to go home and face the family.
Well,
Come on, tell the story. It's a good story.
I think I was 18, and it was on match day, Sunday morning, and I thought, well, yeah, why not put an earring? I don't know why, but those days you could wear them, so it was all good. So I went and got it done, came home for lunch. Pre-meal lunch is roast beef
Beautiful.
before the game.
Yeah.
Oh, classic.
And still flying after it.
So where did you sit?
I
Normal seat?
No chance. Away from Dad, and I think I'd done my neck trying to, keep the other way.
Keep yourself the other way, huh?
And my dad turned around, you think I'm stupid? And I just said, I didn't say anything, and he said, look, just have a shit game, you'll see what happens.
Gee, so he put it to you very early on, eh?
Yeah, straight out.
It was all about the soccer in the end. Have a bad game, earring comes out.
Yeah,
have a good game.
I think I was man of the match, and my dad said, go have a couple more. No. So,
Go get a tattoo.
yeah.
Well, George Jolevski, the best thing for us was not only young Socceroo, not only a star at Preston Macedonia, you were an NSL champion at Marconi and a 3-time NPL gold medal winner, player of the year. So you've covered all the bases, and the best part of it, you've had some great fun. And there's some great stories, and we want to get all of them. I mean, G2 wants to take you way back now that you've forgotten Dad for the 5 minutes.
I can't figure that bloke.
And we haven't got the earring in there. Take him back, G2.
We want to know your very, very first football soccer memory. You recall?
Yeah, most definitely. On my dad's shoulders, Preston. He was involved with Preston Macedonia Club at the time.
I bet you didn't kick the ball.
No, kick him in the back of the head, I think. So, on his shoulders, helping him put nets up at Preston's ground behind Panch in Preston.
Okay, before Connor Reserve.
Yeah, way before Connor Reserves, and Dad was part of it, Mum was part of it, the whole lot, as everyone was in that community based, the Macedonians and that.
Yeah.
So I was destined to play, and I think, my dad's dream was for me to play. So that's my first memory, being part of the club or football.
When did it distill to the point where it stopped being an idea and actually started to morph into your mind, I'm going to do it?
I did little athletics for a long time, till about 12, 13, and then there was a choice to play football or soccer at the time, and I thought, soccer got a chance, and it was just a natural progression, getting picked for the state teams and that, and then I knew, geez, I got a chance here, and my whole focus was, football.
When you were getting picked for the state sides, who were the guys who were alongside you? Who were the guys you were up against?
Well, players that went on to represent Australia, you had your Mark Talajic, Paul Trimboli. Trimmers, of course, yeah. Anthony Gruback, Robert Runya, Colin Cooper, a gentleman by the name of Stan Fotis.
Heidelberg boy.
Yeah. And that was the state teams at the time. Doug Hodgson was another player.
Did you imagine he was going to go overseas and play over there?
No chance, because he was really skin and shy kid, and all of a sudden, mate, become this really big, strong.
What happens when you eat?
Mate, I don't know what was going on.
Is it true that he had the flash socks and the sweatbands as well when he was a junior?
I will say,
any truth to that?
And I hope I don't see him shortly. Definitely had him on both hands.
Both hands.
Yeah.
Sweatbands on both hands.
I don't know if he sweated, but he had them. So,
so he looked good, didn't he?
No,
when he was young?
look,
and he was a striker those days.
He was a striker, and his dad was involved with the FFE at the time, of the federation, and mate, he was just out there.
Yeah, he's a tremendous character. He's going through a few scares at the moment with his
Injuries
health,
back,
with his back, and we wish him all the very, very
Yeah,
best.
no.
But he was great. He was sitting in that chair,
Yeah.
and which probably explains why now makes you look a lot shorter than you really are, because it's sagging a bit. We need to get a new chair.
I'm not saying anything because he's a big boy, mate.
He is a big boy. But listen, they must have been seriously exciting times for you.
Oh, look, it was quite successful because we had a coach by the name of Alan Alexander at the time. He was fantastic with the boys, not only as a coach but a mentor. Instilled a lot of true belief, not only as footballers but young people at the time. And we got picked. We won, I think, 4 out of the 5 state championship or national championship at the time. And mate, we were on fire, the whole team. No one could beat us. And the good thing is that I think about 6 or 7 of us jumped one year to play. I think from the under 16s we went and played in 18s or something like that with Tim White at that time. So no, it was fantastic times. Yeah.
You never feared playing against adults, did you?
No chance. No. Look, when I got to
you cut your teeth in the juniors. That's what it's about.
I'll tell you, it was. I don't know. I look at photos at 16. I look 30. You know what I mean? And a lot of the other boys did too. And I think it's completely opposite now. They're 30 and they look 18. So at the time, we were big, strong boys, and some photos that look like, oh my God, was I that big? What's going on?
You're saying you're a bit thinner now.
Much definitely.
Listen,
Yeah. It was the hair on the legs.
He had to be that tough because Dad demanded.
Oh,
Right.
100%.
Pressure, wasn't
Oh, look, it wasn't pressure from him. It
No.
was just, it was a different kind of pressure. He said, mate, if they looked at it, you're going to football, to soccer, to play soccer. There's no one, and you have to have a heart, and that was the important thing. And they came to this country and worked really hard, and I don't know, it instilled us that if you're going to do something, do it properly. And I think that's just come across to everyone.
What a fantastic legacy to pass on to the family, and especially now in the family. What number are you?
The middle of 3 boys. Yeah, I'm the meeting the sandwich.
Did the other 2 boys play football?
My older brother Tony played. He was not bad, but he wanted a party, go out. And
he made a choice.
Yeah, he made a choice. Funny story, Dad took us to training one night, so my brother was in one corner, I was in another corner, and my younger brother was in another corner.
So you got Tony on this side?
Yeah, Stephen on the other side,
Stephen
me in
on
the
the
middle.
side.
And Dad, straight away, he probably thought, we'll look at George because I think he's got a chance.
Beautiful.
And turned around, Tony's still there, George is still going, Steve's still going. Looks over again, Tony's still going, George is still going. Where's Stephen? He's around back the shed crying.
Oh, no.
Yeah, he just didn't want to play. So Dad grabbed him, chucked him in the car. You wait here for an hour until the other boys finish, and that was it. That was
The involvement.
done straight, and then Tony started, he played at senior level at Lalor Slaughter also, so he played.
What position?
He was a stopper, and he was like, if you pass me, you're not going to pass me, sort of thing. He was a hard boy,
So you played some.
So he's a bit like Aki.
Yes.
Got something you can't miss.
Yes.
Oh, you can't pass me, boy.
Yeah, exactly. 100%.
So you did play some before you were at Preston. You did play at Lalor some junior footy.
Yeah, Lalor Flooring at the time.
Yeah.
It was a local club around the corner. We moved from. I think
That's the old light blue and white colours.
Bill Park's taken over. It was
okay.
Sporting Whittlesea. And it was my junior club. And
yes.
there was guys that we grew up that was part of the committee. We knew each other. A lot of the boys from there, from juniors, went to Preston. Went to Preston for a little while, and then I went to Fawkner. And I think it was Cheryl Kirkovic at the time, and then Gus McLeod took over. So I think my first game of seniors at Fawkner was I just turned 16 at the time. So we were playing.
First 16.
Yeah.
What? Okay, take us back.
So
you're about to start the game.
Well, I wasn't going to start the game, but someone got injured on the week before.
The late call.
left back, late call, yeah. So straight in, and we had Richard Wilson in goals. If you
The
remember.
New Zealand international,
Caesar Fortore.
Yeah, big fella at the back with the hair.
Yeah, Skipana was still there. A player called Joe Palinkish.
Palinkish, yeah.
Socceroo.
Yeah.
Got a good story, but I can't tell you on this one. There you go. But so
Doesn't involve Molly Meldrum, does it?
yeah. Molly, come and watch this play.
Yeah. All
But
right.
This was about Bojangles in the day.
Okay.
Remember Bojangles. Okay.
So thrown into it straight away, and that was '85, and we just got picked into the under-16 national team to go play in the World Cup in China.
Wow.
So we played a couple of that hard in the stuff in regards to that.
So there's two boys at Fawkner, yourself and Corrado, in that Australian squad.
Yeah.
There's Trimmers was in that squad.
In the Australian team, yeah.
Yep.
There was Trimmers, there was Mark Talage, Stan Thodis was in there.
Was Cooper in?
Cooper was there, 100% Cooper.
The gun.
Coops, there was a boy by the name of David Barrett. It was with senior Olympic player.
Yes, I do remember
Fantastic.
that. Good player, really good player.
George Berhustas, goalkeeper,
Yes.
senior Olympic. Or the Naven twins.
Yep.
Also,
What year are we talking now?
85.
85.
So
Yeah, Craig Foster. So that was that
Craig
first
Foster.
ever under 16 World Cup.
We're
which
called
we-
the Coda Kids.
The
at the
Coda
time.
Kids.
And what did you guys imagine you were going to find, going overseas?
Nothing. We just wanted to go play football. We had no idea what was
Had
going
you
on.
flown overseas before?
Tasmania.
Yeah, that's OS.
So when you got your debut just with Fawkner, right? You said you went in as a left back.
Yeah.
As a junior player leading up, what positions had you been playing?
Stopper, midfield. So all
Okay.
my life.
So you're basically following Tony, whatever
Yeah.
you did. Yeah.
So I think how I ended up on the left back, the first state team that was picked under 12s, I think we went to Tasmania, and I wasn't playing, and the left back got injured, and I remember Alan Alexander goes, "You're going to play left back." I couldn't kick left foot, and I remember the first ball came, Dad came, and all the fathers came, and I kicked the ball out with my right on the full, and then my dad passed me and goes, "What are you doing? Stop embarrassing me." And I'll tell you, so we finished the tournament, played all left back, did okay, and then during that, from 12 to 13s, I worked so hard on my left foot, you got no idea. And then they turned up and they said, "What's going on? Where did this left foot come from?" So from then onwards.
Necessity, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's more than necessity, it was desire.
Of course, yeah.
Oh,
So
no,
it was
no.
a combo. It was a combo that you immediately took it on board.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I was more embarrassed what my dad said because I kicked
So
it out on the full.
what a lesson
Yeah.
for anybody
Yeah.
thinking to play, boy or girl.
Yeah.
If you're one-sided, just give yourself an idea that if you really want to be better,
Yeah.
make yourself better. You can do it.
Oh, 100%. You just have to apply yourself, and the learning process of me understanding what was going on was the main thing for me to go and improve on the field.
And how long was it before, when the ball rolled across your body, you have to set yourself up immediately? It was instinctive. How long before it was instinctive? That's what I'm trying to ascertain.
I would say it came, say 13.
Yeah.
I reckon around about 5 years later.
Okay.
And I remember.
So
doing-
17, 18, you were just about two-sided natural, eh?
Yeah, almost natural.
Fantastic.
But I did a lot of work with Andon Donchevski at Preston at the time. When he first came over, I used to do 3 mornings a week with him, and I dare say about 18, I was just natural. That's no problem. I could take penalties.
Yeah, there's a lesson there for everybody.
Plenty of work
Oh,
and desire,
a lot
no
of
doubt.
work. And not only sacrifices, you know. The boys were going out, you know, the night before, and I was getting up training, picking him up and taking him to the ground and work with him. Yeah.
And he was willing to do that, obviously.
Oh, look, he was such a bloke where he didn't ask for you to do it. It kind of created that environment for you to ask. And the guy, you know, like, it was just, he goes, oh, how you going? Oh, yeah, and this and that. And he never asked. And I don't know, it just felt like I kind of read it from him, you know.
I think you've actually, in another beautiful way, given us an insight into the special people that teach us.
Oh, look,
Yeah, they don't drown us, they don't put pressure on us, but they actually inspire or encourage us.
Yeah, well,
without really openly doing it.
I think you need to want it first.
Yeah,
That's
no doubt.
that's the first thing.
Yeah.
Second is someone believing in you and giving you that kind of love, or kind of, you know, putting something across, showing you that, you know, you've got it, you want it, but we need someone to come over you and blanket you and take you on board, and he did it, you know. My dad, Donchevski, you know, there's these kind of coaches that just had that kind of, you know, feeling that made you special. So
Do you remember in that, sorry to go back to your Fawkner debut, a senior debut,
Yeah.
it's important as a 16-year-old, who you played against, what team, and
Oh, mate.
no, you don't remember? No, all right, cool. Yeah, anyway, you found
He does remember.
No.
He just doesn't want to let anyone know.
no, I think I got 2 votes.
We can go to the
I did.
video.
I had a good game. I'm telling you, I remember.
I'm going to go back and
Yeah.
look up the soccer action.
Yeah,
Okay, where did you play?
Left
What-
back.
No, what ground?
at CB Smith.
So what was it
Duke's
like?
Road, Duke's Road.
Did you
Duke's
feel?
Road, yeah.
Did you feel the?
Mate, it just
The
happened.
buzzing?
No, it
Just
was
run
it
it.
was fantastic.
You're on.
I was on, and you know what? Because the people around me,
So Gus McLeod was the coach, right? Yeah.
the people around me created for me to be okay, and that was the main thing. And that comes from probably how I created and also how I behaved.
How did Gus make you feel going into a senior debut?
Oh, mate, it was just straightforward. You know, you're good, you're done,
You're
you're
ready?
fine,
You're ready.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Who was the captain?
Caesar, I think. Caesar
Okay,
Vittori
okay.
at the time. Yeah.
And you won, eh?
Yeah, I'm sure we won. It's easy.
You found your way going after that back to Preston,
Yeah.
and that was obviously you got a bit of senior footy, and
Yeah, look, I got back to Preston. Bill Murray was coach at the time.
Yeah.
And
Top
yeah,
quality,
yeah.
man.
speaking of good coaches, yeah,
Oh my God, yeah.
and good people.
And you had characters there also. And
Oh,
you know,
geez,
like
yes.
you mentioned Gary Cole, Graham Hayes. You had these people there, like Ian Dobson,
Tell us about Hazy.
Hazy.
Okay, come on,
Ginger.
Graham.
Ginger.
Hazy would just fly and wind everyone up and just jump tackles, you know. But look, I keep saying the English or the Scots or whatever you want to call them, were so professional on the field. You know, what happened on the field stayed on the field. You know, I mean, they were fantastic. You know,
Tackles
So-
you around the knees, no problem.
Oh,
Let's have a drink after the game.
And then what was it? The Woggers against the Poms sort of thing.
For training?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
So, but what do you think they bought for you personally? How did that work for you? Like, you know, like you're a young boy, they're going to give you a hard time. We know that, right? But there's got to be an upside. There's a downside. Some sink, some swim. How does that work?
I didn't see it downside. Look, I just went on with my soccer. I didn't even worry about it much, you know, and that was a credit to my dad, because my dad said, if you go there, you go there to play football. I'm not taking you. If you're going to muck around, if you didn't have your socks up and shirt tucked in, there's no use going. So I think that instilled for me to go out there and just play football.
What's Dad's name?
Spiro. He's a killer, mate. He's struggling at the moment. He's got a bit of dementia.
Well, we
and
send him
yeah,
best. Oh,
thank
we
you.
send him
Yeah.
best wishes.
So,
Is Mum still with us?
Mum's all right. Mum's
And
come.
Mum's name is
Pat.
Pat. Okay,
Yeah.
Pat. We're with you. We're enjoying the company of your son, and the best part is some of the stories that we're going to unleash over the next hour will surprise you, even, Mum.
No, she's all right.
So how long before you got your senior debut? Because I know you played at a ground which is now a container yard, the old Schintler Reserve.
Oh, yeah.
Is that where you made your debut? Senior debut?
Yeah, I'm sure off the
Yeah.
bench, something like that.
Against Footscray?
Footscray. Funny story there also.
Come on, this is the place for
Drop
funny
it.
stories.
Yeah,
Drop it.
I think with Ian Dobson, and I remember, I think we're winning, and then we end up losing, and they've come into the dressing room, and I turned around, walking past Ian Dobson, and I said, "Unlucky," to Ian Dobson, and he goes, "Unlucky," and he swore off, and I looked at him, and I just ran straight into the toilet. I'm going to wait till he gets out of here before I go back. So it just showed how important
It meant.
it meant to, you know, not only the club, him, but these people left everything on the field. you know. And even Dobson, mate, he looked red in the eyes, mate. He was going to come at me, you know, at the time. You know.
What were the referees like in those days?
Fantastic.
How do you remember them?
I remember them being human beings, and easy to talk to, and they, if you're having a bad game, they will let you know. I think they understood more how people were, and how they behaved, and how they carried themselves over the games they probably refed in regards to that. You know, like, you know, Dennis Voutsinas.
Yes.
Jim Fraser.
Yeah.
So Fraser, John
Yes,
Fraser,
John
John
Fraser,
Fraser, and all
yeah.
that.
Fraser.
These guys were characters, and they were characters that you trusted and you believed in, and the decisions they made, it was never whinging at all.
Makes a huge difference, doesn't it, when your attitude's like that?
Now, your name's come up recently in a couple of our episodes. One with Dennis, as you mentioned. Now, we just want to know, the two of these myths are true. Is it true that Dennis gave you a red card or a second yellow because he had incorrectly written you down for the first one?
Yeah, that's a true story.
That's a true story, that one? Okay, so it's not just a myth?
No, not a myth.
Yes, and Dennis.
Yeah.
And was it true that you were on the ground with your hands clasped saying, Dennis, what are you doing?
Yeah, I gave him the finger. Don't you dare. Yeah, no, he just turned up my first yellow, and he's gone yellow, red. I said, where are you pulling the red out from? He goes, your first yellow.
First half, yeah.
I said, I don't know what you're talking about. Check your book. And he's checked it, and he's seen it, and
he got it wrong.
And he got it wrong. He got it wrong.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
He's stated.
Okay,
And I think that was the first and last time ever happened, I think.
Okay, yeah.
So,
No,
yeah.
he was embarrassed, but he was happy to rescind because obviously knew he looked. I think he looked, as he said, he looked over to Mike Gort, who was laughing hysterically.
Yeah.
So
And realised that something had gone wrong.
yeah.
Definitely. And what a gentleman Dennis is.
Of course he
Yeah.
was. And Nick Meredith last week mentioned this nutmeg story. I don't know if you heard it or not heard it.
I didn't hear it because I.
Is it?
You were
Well, he
distracted.
told us that you nutmegged the same player twice and then kicked the ball out and then ran back to your position. True or not true? Or what is this true story?
Or is Meredith just polishing something that went
But
on?
very true, and I've looked so hard to find the video and I can't find it anywhere. So the story behind it was
Who are you playing against?
Preston versus St George.
Yeah.
Frank Arok coach.
Oh, yes.
So
we're
Frank's
go-
on the bench.
So
Frank's
you're
on the
playing
bench.
at home or away?
At home.
At home.
So right in front of the bench where St George was sitting, Andy Kozcka's come, and I've given him a whooshka through the legs, and he's turned around. The ground was wet, and in those
That
days,
helped.
helped, and he was a big boy, so he turned around slow, and
Slowly.
I've gone whack again.
Wide berth.
And yeah, so he's opened the beauty, and I've just kicked the ball out on the full. And I said, I just put my hands up. I said, how can you play after that? You know? and Andy Kozcka was probably the love child to Frank Arok at the time.
He's one of those
Yeah.
new boys coming through. Yes.
Yeah. And then I remember going back to the club, the social club after that, and sitting at the chair to have our kebapi at the time, as everyone got invited. Someone's tapped me on the shoulder, and it's Frank Arok.
Oh.
And I thought, oh, here we go. And he goes, keep up the good work, boy. I'll see you soon. And then I think I got called up in the Socceroos probably 2 weeks later.
2 weeks later.
Yeah,
Okay.
so-
And then he later signed you at Marconi.
Yeah, Marconi.
Yeah.
I think I was the second phone call after Kim Montelioloros.
So he needed a politician and then an ambidextrous
Yeah,
fullback.
yeah, exactly.
In that order. Very good.
Spot on.
Now,
Yeah.
you know, I did a gala night for the team of the century, Marconi team of the century, and Schintler was there, and they had some of the great characters. And the guy that who wasn't there and surprised me was Ian Gray,
Oh,
a
don't
terrific
you?
player. We
Yeah.
lost him way too early. Nick Meredith mentioned it, how it had affected him. Did you spend much time with
Yeah,
him?
we spent just over 2 years with him, and he was larger than life.
Tell us about it, because so many people followed him. They love to follow him.
Oh no, he was a true leader in regards to that. Look, if you look at players that followed him, Steve Corica wouldn't be Steve Corica. Mark
Okay.
Schwarzer wouldn't be Mark Schwarzer. Luke Caserly wouldn't be Luke.
Yep.
I was a bit older in regards to that. There was Darren Iaka or something
Yeah.
like that also.
Coco.
Yeah, so he was unbelievable. Ufuk Tale was another one that,
Yep.
at the time, you know, some players. There was something about the bloke, I'll tell you what, and he could play football.
Could play.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, look-
I got up, Paolo came up,
Yeah.
Junior was there, and he was, of course, anointed in the team of the century, and I can remember looking through the list, and I was half expecting Ian Gray to walk
Yeah.
up, and Tony
Yeah.
Henderson
I
said to
know.
me, I just want to explain that this, and this,
Yeah, I know.
and I hadn't realised. And I was taken aback
No,
by the fact that Ian
shocked.
Gray was not there.
Look, not only like a great footballer, leader, he was, he was a person where he left everything on the field. I remember him coming off the field and putting his both feet in the ice bucket.
Mm.
Mate, we didn't want to put our finger, let alone our ankles in there at the time, But no, sadly missed, he put a lot of time and effort to those young guys, especially at Marconi at that time.
What did you learn from that time at Marconi with the man Arok?
Frank Arok...
Was he as wild, or was he a canny old fella?
A bit of both.
Uh-huh.
Maybe canny more than anything. he knew every player. I remember turning up and he said to me, I want to play you centre back. I said, yeah, no problem. Wherever you want to put me, I'll play. It doesn't matter. He goes, I need you to chase the little short bastards, the strikers, your Warren Spinks, your Paul Trimbolis at the time. So
Thank God you weren't chasing Charlie Egan.
No, Charlie Egan, no chance catching him.
Correct.
And he had me and Matthew Bingley stoppers at the time, and I don't know, he just had something about him that you wanted to play for him. I don't know, he was just that wild old bastard. I don't know, he was just fantastic.
He'd fire you up.
He's another one who had a big influence in me. That comment when he tapped me on the shoulder, changed my life in regards to that. So when he called me up, I was straight there.
Gave you something to look forward to.
Yeah.
We're going to take a break. We've got plenty more to look forward to. George Jolevski, or as we say in the storybooks, G3 on the Pioneers.
Welcome back to the Pioneers on a Thursday night, special night. G3, G2 and G1 all in the one studio, and we're having a ball actually talking here about...
It's a very
Frank
tight
Arok.
fit, I might add.
Yes, well,
Only 3 Georges in the one room. That's a lot of responsibility, G2.
we can handle it.
Listen, you know what we're missing?
What?
Shin pads.
What happened? I don't wear shin pads.
Well,
Did you wear shin pads? Were you weak?
Mate, I was a goalkeeper, didn't need them.
Okay, all right. Just
Whoever I
check.
played against needed them though. G3, did you need shin pads?
Frank Arok made sure we wore shin pads
Serious?
at training. Yeah.
What are you training? What are you, a bunch of softies?
I don't know, but it was very competitive, and I dare say he didn't want to get his
These
good
quality
quality players, top dollar players. It was
So was there a fine system involved, or what?
I don't know. He just said everyone's wearing shin pads. Simple as that.
And if you don't,
Frank says, Simon says.
Oh, 100%. And if you get fined or something will happen, and there was one particular night, so we're about to start training, and Frank just walked up to someone and just kicked him in the shin, full on half tackle in the shin. And the guy goes, what the hell are you doing? He goes, I told you, wear shin pads. So he goes, well, no shin pads, plus you're going to get a lump on your shin, plus $100 fine, or $50 fine at the time.
fantastic
Yeah.
stuff. There
Now,
you go.
you won the league with Marconi, is that right?
Yeah, look.
What are the memories of that and how it happened?
I remember Frank Arok talking about at the start of the season, he goes, we want to come second because you don't get anything for first, just to play. Yeah, that's what he said.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
great.
That's
So you
what he said.
reverse psychology.
Yeah, no, he said there's no chance. And
Hang on, was Tony Labuzetta the president in those days?
Tony and Remo
Nagorotho, he was back in the FFA.
Yeah, I know.
And did you finish second?
Yeah, we did. We sure did.
Second to who?
South Melbourne.
Okay.
And he had a plan. He goes, at the start, he goes, we finish second, we go play him away, and then we kill the bastards in the second game. That's what he said. So we've come second. We've gone to play South Melbourne at Olympic Park. We win 1-0. Steve Corica scores. And then we're playing at Parramatta Stadium the second round. We beat South Melbourne 7-0. Straight into the final. Mate, he had it-
7-0.
I'm sure it was 7-0,
Yeah.
something like that.
I've got a recollection.
There was
of
balls
that.
going
Just
everywhere, just
flashing
hitting
back.
off the post, hitting Dean Anderson's outers in the back of the head and going in.
Oh,
It was
not
just one
Dino.
of those
Not
days.
Dino.
Poor Dino. Yeah. No, mate, it was like he had a plan, and then we had Adelaide City in the final, and Andy Harper scored the penalty, the winner at the time.
Was it a
So-
shootout? Or
No,
was
no,
that
just a
in
penalty in normal
Yeah,
play, yeah.
Tell us about Andy Harper. I didn't get enough information.
He gets a lot of
gets a bit of
stick.
flack,
He gets a
yeah.
lot of stick. One of the criticisms you hear is he says way too much, and he could save all those words and do a better job.
No, I love him. I want him to give more of that.
Yeah, I love it too.
Andy, look, if you're in the dressing room...
I want him to put the thesaurus away. Go
Yeah,
ahead. Sorry.
if you're in the dressing room with Andy and you looked over to him and he started giggling, you're gone.
You knew
serious
he'd done
tempo,
something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was just one of those guys just...
Contagious.
Oh my God, if he started giggling and he was a big unit. I think the first time I ever saw a chamois not for a car, for a human. Andy Harper had it.
Oh, for the showers.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because
no.
at Marconi, we just turned up, there was towels and it was quite professional at the time.
Didn't have to bring your own towel. That is very
no,
professional.
And Harps turns up with a chamois. I've never seen a chamois in my life.
And everyone laughed, and then everyone copied.
Oh, that's it.
Do you know, just a couple of years ago when the FFA Cup started, and John Anastasiades led the Bentley Greens to a fantastic semi-final against Perth Glory at Kingston Heath. Of course, Fox were there, and Andy was turned up, and of course he'd never been to Kingston Heath, and he said to us before the game, you know, we should grab something to eat. I said, mate, you've got to go down and test the souvlakia. How many souvlakia do you think Andy had before the call of the game?
Is that after he ate? 3 or 4?
3 souvlakia.
Oh,
So that's a 3 souvlakia game.
But on a serious note, he's such a gentleman. I'll tell you, like, unbelievable bloke. And I'm so happy for him being part of the Fox Sports and listening to him. Oh, mate, he's unbelievable.
As a player, though, as a teammate, describe and rate.
Very forceful, strong, direct.
Well, it's a big unit, as you
Big
touched
unit,
on earlier.
yeah.
People forget.
And he had this knack that the ball stuck to his foot. The ball would be behind him and he would drag it in front of him. Oh, I just don't know how he did it. He just had this knack, and he was direct. And at that time, players who were direct were very, very good, and he was one of them. You know, strong.
I'm trying to remember, were you playing for Marconi when you played Blacktown City and Kevin Keegan played?
No, that was before that. No.
Before that,
I wish.
okay. Because it was 13,500 at Marconi Stadium, and we had Les Murray wanted to call the game. We said, sure, Les. And he didn't realise he had to climb these rickety old stairs to the commentary position, and he thought about it 3 or 4 times. He eventually climbed, but by golly,
Yeah.
if you shook it, it would have been a short stay all the way
It
down.
was a little bit before OH&S really kicked into the country, wasn't it?
Getting
With the scaffolding at Central
Yeah.
Stadium. Yeah.
So you had a little bit of a short stint at Sydney, Croatia.
Yeah.
Not a lot of games. What was it?
Who
Injuries?
was coaching? Was it Rosic? No.
No. It was another Croatian bloke from overseas. I can't remember his name.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was Shavor there, or had he left?
It had left. So I turned up from Malaysia. I was in Malaysia for just over a year and came back to Sydney. And I got back and did all the pre-season and done my groin after about probably the second game and struggled after that. So
Tell us about Malaysia.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, why Malaysia?
Why?
Then, especially.
I think I was third on the list to get picked to go to Malaysia at the time.
Okay.
I think they had scouts out here, and they were talking to a few players. I think Phil Stubbins at the time and so forth. I was at Preston.
Smart player. Phil.
Yeah, and I think
good coach.
they turned up by accident to watch Preston, and they said, "Oh, who's that number 3 with the long hair?" And it just took off from there. So
The left footer.
yeah, the right left footer. Yeah, so I was fortunate enough to go over there with Zlatko Nastevski.
Yeah,
And
good player.
oh my God, the guy, unbelievable. So we had him there also, and we had a Brazilian by the name of De Silva, and he turned up as a 32-year-old but looked 60. But he must have dodged the certificate, but he was quality at the time. So
Yeah.
But could
we
play,
struggled.
yeah?
Yeah, could play. We struggled. I struggled, to be quite honest. You know,
Was it the atmosphere, the heavy grounds? What was it?
it was moving out of home for the first time.
Yes,
That was
cultural.
cultural.
Yeah.
Getting used to
The language?
the weather, and the whole lot. You know, I went when I was probably just 21. You know, and it was just the
You weren't
opportunity.
ready. You
I
weren't
wasn't
ready?
ready. No, I wasn't ready. And that was, I was with the Socceroos at the time, and then Frank left, and then Eddie Thompson took over. And just before Eddie took over, I went to
man,
Malaysia.
Thompson.
Yeah, so it was that sliding door that we talked about earlier. That should I go? Should I not? And I thought, you know, I got a chance, and I went, and I missed out getting to the Socceroos after that.
Right, so you played 3 B internationals
Yeah.
in 1990. What
Yeah.
are your memories of that?
Again, Frank Arok tapping me on the shoulder.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And I remember the first camp that we went out, was at Princess Park. There was a Travelodge across the road there.
Correct, yeah.
And they put me in the room with Charlie Ankles and Graham Arnold.
Oh, I feel a story coming up.
Yeah.
A trio.
A trio. So I remember putting our stuff in the room, and then Charlie goes, "Oh, look, I've got to go and do some media stuff." So yeah, okay. And then Graham goes, "Oh, I'm just going to go for a walk." So I'm sitting in the room there. there's a knock at the door. Open up, and it's the porter or the person bringing a massive bag of Adidas bag. What the hell's going on here? So I grabbed that, put it in, I dare say, Charlie's room, because I knew he was sponsored by Adidas. And then 15 minutes later, I get another knock. What's going on here? There's the same bloke with another bag, a Puma bag. What's going on here? So obviously I was sponsored at for Puma and Adidas, and I remember my dad sponsoring me, working hard and paying for some bloody soccer boots. And so they turned up and said, "Oh, guys, you've got some." Oh, fantastic! So they went through the stuff, and they each gave me a pair of soccer boots, at the time. So they were very generous.
Very good.
Yeah.
So they became the godfathers.
Yes.
I was worried there's going to be a big prank coming on.
No, pranks stayed within the clubs. I don't think there was any pranks with the Socceroos.
So how did you enjoy your time? Like, obviously, they would have taken you under their wing, these older guys, because obviously they were a little bit older. Charlie, Graham, a generation older. A young guy coming in. Were they all like that? Did you have a hard time with any of them?
No, not all. I experienced exactly what I experienced with Preston, with the older players, with the Socceroos. They had the same mentality. There was no difference. There was no bigger or smaller.
Our first pioneer was Charlie Yankos.
Well, there you go.
So, take us through. What was he like to play with?
Not only play, to be part of him and know him and get to know him, to say, I know Charlie Yankos, mate, one of the best, captains that the Socceroos ever had.
Did he practice the free kicks?
I don't think so. I don't think he ran or even trained. He was that good. He didn't have to train. Yeah, so it was exactly the same transition, the same people, like with the club level and that. And, you had Zabika at the time, Alex Tobin, fantastic people. They there was a player called Željko Azic that was
from Melbourne Knights.
Come in at the time, and Andrews, I think Andrews Zini, Philip Trionides was picked for that squad too. And look, it was just natural. I don't know why. It was just looking back at it. It was just play.
Did you notice when you were with the national squad and training with them, the level had stepped up from, say, club level? Was there a noticeable difference, or what? Was there any?
Or did you feel comfortable?
I felt comfortable. I didn't think. I was very confident.
You weren't
in
rushed.
myself. Yeah, it wasn't rushed.
Okay.
It was like the guys made it an easy transition. I felt confident in my ability, and they made it easier. It wasn't. And I dare say, like I kept saying, it was like club level. It wasn't different at all. So.
You've played in some terrific games, big games, yeah? I've always been a great believer that some people in these big games either hide from the bright lights or they shrink. Yeah? Have you sensed that in those games? From whether it was an opponent or a teammate, you needed to go and pat them on the shoulder and say, "Listen, I'm with you," and lift them and carry them?
I don't think so. No, not at all. Look, like even I don't know, now coaching and trying to pat people on the back and encouraging them, well done.
People management.
We didn't have that. And when I look back, I'm not comparing it, but looking back and say, there was none of that. It was there. You're there for a reason.
I like Spiro's approach.
Oh my God.
Don't you embarrass me.
Don't you. Well, my dad, I'll tell you, playing in front of 8,000 to 10,000 Preston supporters, and you can hear your dad saying, "Go, hurry up."
You can hear your dad.
No. And everyone knows my dad probably did more running than me on the left side, didn't go on the other side, left side. So
He'd follow you wing to wing. Yeah.
Yes. A lot of fathers do. So.
I think you could feel the look, couldn't you? You wouldn't even have to call. You could feel the look if you knew you'd done something. You can feel that look.
Well, I saw something funny not long ago. I had OCD until my dad pulled the bell tell. And that's what we did. So if we carried on, you're going to cop it, so you wouldn't carry on. Simple as that.
Just be quiet, boy.
Yeah.
Now you come back to Melbourne, to the Melbourne Juventus, as it was, not the Brunswick Juventus.
Yeah, it was Melbourne Juventus.
They made the change, yeah.
What are your memories of that?
It was difficult coming from Marconi, being full on, and Melbourne Juventus at the time didn't have a base, training base.
So the professionalism difference, is that where the...
Yeah, that's where it was. And, they went through a tough time, changing grounds, not having a base, which is understandable. Ken Murphy was a hard coach to deal with at the time.
Yep.
But looking back, I wish I could change it, because he was so hard, and, butting heads with a coach doesn't work in regards to that. I just found there was no base, and that kind of was hard to get the team going, and they struggled, and I struggled too. most importantly. Yeah.
Talking about struggling, you decided to go to Wollongong.
The
I'm not
Wolves,
saying that,
Wolves
The
country.
Wollongong.
So another adventure. Tell us about your time in Wollongong.
One of the most beautiful places to live.
Yeah?
My radio station was 2WL,
Yeah, beautiful. That
North Beach.
North Beach and at Port Kembla Beach, that sand, fantastic, squeaky sand.
Absolutely.
How can you not love it?
I've loved it.
Yeah.
I live now in Port Melbourne,
Yeah.
and people say to me, "You go down the beach." I said, "That's not a beach."
That's not a beach. Yeah, look, Bertie Mariani was coach.
Oh, yeah.
Took me over at the time.
Ex Marconi.
Yeah, fantastic
Yeah.
bloke, you know.
You know, my next door neighbour is Eddie Krenchevich.
Oh, Eddie.
And he and Bertie are like
Yes,
that
of
and
course.
for a long time.
Yes.
So great
Eddie.
stories.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So ended up going there with my wife at the time, and it was fantastic, welcome, beautiful, the whole lot. And I think we struggled, and then they changed coaches. Nick
Theodorakopoulos.
came in.
Easy
Well,
for,
there are
you to
goblins.
say.
Yeah, Nick.
Easy for you to say.
So
Yeah, I know.
Say it again. Theodorakopoulos. You
Not
can
going
do
to
it.
try to say it, but that's why he wouldn't play me, because I couldn't say his surname.
Nick T.
Nick T.
It's
look-
all right. We'll ring Nick T right now.
Yeah. Oh, look, it was just, you know, I've always been the type of person, if it's not working, you leave, if you know, you head up high. And there was a couple of times, and that was one particular time where it didn't fit in his plans. And, you know, and we spoke about it.
What a
and-
shame.
Yeah, which was a shame, you know, I just signed the 2-year lease. And that,
What year was that? What year was that? Just take me back. Because
95, 96.
96.
okay,
Yeah.
I was in Italy for the
Mm.
World Cup in 1990, and I get a phone call, and it's Nick.
Yeah.
He goes, "Can you get me a ticket?" I said, "You get to Rome, you'll get to
The ticket.
To get the ticket." And he came. He did. He actually came.
Did you say, trust me, I'm Greek?
No, I wouldn't dare.
Trust me,
I
I've
was
got a
in.
ticket.
But I also remember that the Wollongong Wolves were the only other Australian club side to actually qualify for the World Club Championship.
That's correct.
And they
Yes.
cancelled the tournament.
Yes, at that time, yes.
Talk about bad luck.
Talk about bad luck. Even more bad luck, you ended up going to Collingwood Warriors.
What were you thinking? Did you speak to Dad?
No.
Spiro would have gone.
No, I
Was this about Zoran? Did Zoran...
No, it was a sliding door moment, a game where Perth Glory came in and said, "You come in," and I said,
This is Nick Tanner.
Yeah, Nick Tanner,
Yeah.
and the coach. Moretti, was it?
Meraki.
Meraki, yeah.
Yeah,
Gary
Meraki.
Meraki was
Yeah,
coach.
yeah, yeah.
So about to go there, and then I wanted to start a family at that particular time. And we said,
It's a reasonable thing to do.
Of course, you know, we've been travelling a little bit with the wife at the time, and said, we'll come back to Melbourne, Collingwood Warriors. Why not? You know, it's a good kind of, you know, theory behind it all.
You weren't
you
a
know?
Collingwood football supporter as
I
well,
don't
mate.
like AFL
Okay.
full stop, mate.
Smart man.
Yeah, so I don't know what happened there.
No.
So so came in with Zoran Matic and went across there. I only stayed for half a season in regards to this. So I bailed and went to play VPL at the
Yep.
time. So way before all that crap happened in regards to, you know, the players not being paid.
Going off the rails.
Going off the rails.
You got out.
Did you
Well, I
sense?
didn't get anything. I just got out. So.
Just got out.
Did you sense that something was about to happen?
No,
You just got out. It was
no.
uncomfortable.
It was uncomfortable. You know, Zoran Matic wouldn't play me. You know, and the turning
Can
point.
you give me a clue? Why is it that people get to clubs and they find out they run into an impasse? Is it because the coaches change midstream, or they had one expectation and suddenly it's changed?
Yeah, look, it's from both parties. You know, coaches change, and then you
Yep.
get out of flavour, if you want to put it that way, or you go to there and you don't like it, or the coach doesn't like you. And
Gotcha.
that particular moment, I dare say, I didn't
just
fit
didn't
for
work.
with Zoran at the time, and I remember going up to play against Brisbane Lions, I think it was, and we were one short player in the squad, and I was on the bench, and he put me to play left back, so I'm playing left back, and all of a sudden, in the 10th minute, we look over, a player's come on to the bench. It was Joe Vrikic. He signed in on the Friday. Saturday we're playing. So Joe's got changed, so he's flew from Sydney to Brisbane, and he's come onto the bench, and I looked
During the game?
During the game, I'm like, oh, because the bench was right next
We've
to
got a
me.
new player.
Got a new player, and guess who got subbed?
Did
For Joe
you?
Vrikic, I did. After about 10th minute or so.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you saw the writing on the
Yeah,
wall?
yeah. And I held my set and said, mate, I didn't want to cause any trouble. I just played. He picked me on, I played, and then we just shook hands and walked away, you know, and got to speak to him years later. No problem. You know. He was a good coach, though, I'll tell you what.
Oh, his record's
Yeah.
good and his
Yeah.
reputation's good, but
Yeah.
it doesn't always work. Like
Of
right
course
place, right time, and all that for players. You
Yeah.
can have the guy that you love the most,
Yeah.
but for whatever reason he doesn't pick you, you just get on with it.
Yeah, it just happened to be one of those things, and as a professional at that time, him and myself, we just walked away.
You've been to enough clubs, you've been to enough dressing rooms. What is the thing that makes winners? What are the things that you need in a dressing room you need to feel it or sense it, and you can say to me, I think that group has it.
I've always been a believer that apart from playing for yourself, you play for the coach.
Mm.
And if you get that from the coach, I'll use an example of talking to the South Melbourne boys when Pushkas was coach.
Uh-huh.
And I don't think Pushkas coached them, but they had a really good, tight group of players.
But they believed, and he believed in them.
Yeah, he believed in him and vice versa. I think they did 3 laps, something like that, but they had quality and they stuck together.
Well, I filmed his first training session. I came down for Channel 9 days in the White World of Sports, and we had 2 camera crews. And just to watch the energy, to watch the egos, and to watch the antics, it was just remarkable.
Yeah.
Mickey P, Bruce McLaren, Trimmers, Ange, the whole box and dice. And of course, Pushkash walks up with a suit.
Yeah.
The ball, he calls for the ball, Trimmers flicks the ball over and he hits it in the air.
Yeah.
And as he hits the ball, he says to Bruce, "Catch the ball, Bruce."
Yeah.
Bruce didn't see it.
Yeah.
Hit the back of the net. And from that moment on, it was galvanised.
It's funny you say it. Andon Donchevski did the same thing with Philip Trinides, and he goes, "Get your goals, Phil," and left foot top corner, right foot top corner.
Correct. Exactly how he did it.
Yeah. So.
Well, he had both left feet.
Yeah.
He went, Bruce, come on, Bruce, number 2. Bang, other corner. And we all sat there.
Yeah.
And I had an ISO camera just on Pushkash. And it's gone.
Yeah.
The back of the net stanchion's gone like this.
Yeah.
And he's wearing a suit. And he's, what is he, late 60s, early 70s, early 70s. I'm sitting there thinking, they called him the Galloping Major.
Yes.
And Mike Gibson and Ian Chappell had never heard the expression before. And they said to me, "So, who we got today?" I said, "We're going to do a special story on the new coach of South Melbourne. His name is Ferenc Puskás." He says, "So who's the Galloping Major?" "He's the Galloping Major." And that was the story. And they loved it. But for the first 5 minutes, they went, "Who? That guy?"
Yeah, it's a
Special.
big impact, and that's what we experienced with Donchevski at Preston at the time. And funny,
Tell us about it. You
funny you
sense,
say that.
You sense that?
Yeah, I sense that, and I just wanted to say that people knew who Pushkas was. People knew who Donchevski was.
Right.
Now, if you bring someone here like a Jolevski or Paul Trimboli, who?
It's a different time, and the
Which is
respect,
which is
that
understandable.
respect that we used to
Yeah.
expect
Yeah.
isn't quite there.
Yeah, no.
But before we run out of time, it's important. We've had some special guests through the 16 months or whatever.
Word
Charlie-
association?
Well, it is word association, and then I'll get to it. But Charlie Egan, Bobby McGuinness, Branko Kalina, just to name a few, that were Rothman's medalists, which is the best player in the Victorian League. Now, by the time you got to that league, it was the gold medal, right? But Bobby won 2, I think, and disputed 1 with Branko. And Charlie won 1, and we may have had another winner, but we've not had someone on the show who's won 3 in a bloody row. Mate.
Jesus, mate, what were you thinking?
Look, I would say I deserved the 2, for sure.
Well, that's good to be honest.
Yeah, no, be
No,
honest.
Spiro's told him, huh?
Yeah, no, that's it. I know. I came from NSL to the VPL.
Went to Thomastown, is that right?
I was flying.
Yeah.
I was just flying,
Yeah.
absolutely flying, and then went to Magic in between.
Altitude,
We won the championship with Dobson at the time. Another fantastic coach. So 3 people in my life. You had your Donchevskis or Alan Alexander, all the young coaches, and that. And then you got Donchevski, Frank Arok, and Ian Dobson. Unbelievable. Different characters, different kind of views of football and all
They
that.
gave you something else to bring to the table.
Yeah, so the first year's flying, the second year maybe lucky. So, but the story was I was inviting all the referees to barbecues. That's why I was getting the 3 votes. So,
Did Colin Cooper teach you that trick?
barbecues?
Yeah, because Cooper used to get a vote just by turning up.
Yeah.
And you get a second vote for saying hello to the ref
Yeah.
and putting his arm around him at the toss, and then we thought if he scored, he's definitely going to get
Oh,
the three
definitely.
votes. Yeah.
Look, for me, mate, I was just hard at it and worked really hard and didn't worry about the refs, didn't care about the refs.
And Mum, Pat cooked for
Yeah,
It's all right.
the roast lamb, and Dad will cut a bit of meat for the other guys and give me the bone. So, of course, you're going to fly after that.
History will show you've got 3 gold medals. Doesn't matter how you got them.
Oh, look,
You must be proud of that.
I'm very proud, and I was thinking the other day, I'm reading the comments about how people saying I'm left foot. For me, I feel more honoured that people thought I was a left footer than winning all that, you know, the whole lot, individual awards and whatever. For me, it just shows that I worked so goddamn hard to come to that point.
When your peers say gun, cultured left foot, quality, yeah, what does that mean to you?
That you looked from your peers in that way, you know what I mean? Because it's not only playing the sport, but being, you know, achieving and acknowledged, that kind of person. And I've always been one of those good guys. Nothing phases me.
The biggest pat on the back you can get is correct from your peers,
Yeah.
and that's one of the things I learned
Yeah.
from Ray Pocock.
Mhm.
I had one season under the great man, and he was man management. Tactically,
Yeah.
Maybe not.
but
Yeah.
that's not for me to
Doesn't
say.
matter,
of course.
But man management and the way
Fabulous.
he made the players work for
And-
each
and
other,
work for-
whatever.
yeah, yeah.
But one of the things he left me, and he said, when I was frustrated, you know, like I want to play, he goes, don't worry. He goes, when it's right, you'll play. He
Yeah.
goes, I won't judge you. Your peers,
Yeah.
they're
Oh.
ready. When they're ready for you to be in the team, you'll be ready to be
Yeah,
in the
look,
team. And that's when you know.
And that's why, look, it was 3 gold medals, fantastic, and it was from the refs, you know what I mean? Which is fantastic. You'll
Neutral.
take it in
Yeah,
neutral.
you'll take
at
it,
the
yeah.
same, but at the same time, just, you know, you can catch up with a friend 20 years later. It was like 2 minutes ago.
Yes.
And that's the meaning of, you know,
That's part of the family we all
Yeah.
belong in now, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Your most memorable moment?
Oh, wow. Well, playing for Preston Macedonia.
Yep.
It was probably the most memorable, and representing Australia. They're probably the two, and more important. But again, I don't know, like, it's just been fantastic. It's been a great journey where I can come here and talk about it, and getting invited to talk about the history and my experiences. That means the most to me.
And what are you putting back as a coach?
Well, I worked with Melbourne City, with the City Football Academy for a little while.
What's it like at Bundoora?
Um,
They get a lot of flack, don't they?
well, why would they?
No, but they do get a lot
Yeah,
of
I know,
flack.
but-
I think it's a lot of jealousy. I think it's a little bit of that.
Look, being part of it, they don't even look at it that way from within.
Yep.
And you will get, it's human nature for the people to be jealous of, you know, they've got a lot of money and all
Yep.
that, but people work really hard, you know, with Joe Pellicini's
Yep.
doing fantastic,
Yeah,
you
that's-
know,
Some-
Lachlan Armstrong.
There are some terrific
Yeah.
youngsters.
Yeah.
You're going to be talking to young Moody Najjar.
Yeah,
Terrific talent.
Yeah.
Great potential.
yeah. Atkinson was one of the boys that came from John Fawkner College. They were
Yes,
part of
that's
it.
right. They have a special
Yeah,
relationship with
yeah.
those colleges.
That's where I was there for 3 years.
Talent
That's it.
identification is very big as far as
Yeah,
they're concerned.
and the minute he came on, you could see this boy's going to get somewhere straight away. So people can be jealous, but the proof's in the pudding that players are coming through. So, you know, aren't we here for the reason to get the best players?
Were you there
Yes.
when Azani started to make some moves?
No, I was part of the youth team and the young squads and all that, but
Did you know he had something about
you
him?
could see straight away. Oh my God, flying.
Did you remember John Roberts, who went back to Western Sydney Wanderers?
Yes.
Another great talent.
Yeah. Oh, look, there's heaps. I'll say it again. Joe Pelicides, the Melbourne Heart to Melbourne City, he's
Yep.
worked so goddamn hard to, you know, put, you know, the youth team where they are. It just shows, you know, in the last few years they've won it and done
And
fantastic.
just missed out this year.
Yeah, just missed out. Yeah.
Well, Georgie, we thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for being sporting and sitting with that G3 title. It's a bit disrespectful.
I was just going to
No,
say,
not at all.
it's very rare that we can actually go 1, 2, 3.
Yes, anyway.
It's very special
We've
territory.
done it. It's been a great journey. Congratulations on a wonderful career. Thank you so much for joining us and for being a good sport. And we wish you all the best in your continued career going forward.
Great. Thank you for having me. It's been lovely.
And say thank you to Spiro too
Oh,
for making it all happen, mate.
I'll tell you, mum and dad and family are very important, isn't it?
Absolutely,
You know,
100%.
fantastic.
Well done.
Thank you, guys.
Beautiful.
Brilliant.
Excellent.
By the way,
Thank
fantastic
you.
stuff. That's great.
That's fantastic.
Great
Thanks,
stuff,
Ray.
mate. That's
Thanks, mate.
Some good stories.
FNR, Football Nation Radio.
Voutsinas, no call! Score!
Salamidi for Cole. Cole on the run. Shoots. 2-0.
Kozlowski with the free kick. Launches a rocket! Trimboli, what vision! Bath blasts. Yes! That's it!
Miljevic.
Here's Bozanic. They haven't! They might have won it!
The Pioneers with George Donikian and George Voutsinas on FNR, Football Nation Radio.